Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. So glad you guys could join us today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and share it with your friends. We've got a lot to talk about today. Russell Westbrook says he is 100% okay, and there is going to be some beatdowns heading our way. I cannot wait to talk about this Jalen Ramsey situation. You know the Rams spent a whole bunch of money on him, and apparently he's out here getting burnt in practice. We're going to talk about that. But right now, let's meet the Fumble Squad. I'm your host, Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all things social media at JRayTheFanatic.
It's your boy, Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K. What's up?
What's happening? I'm excited to get your take on another because you play those video games all the time. So there's a situation coming up with Jace. I'm not even going to tell you, but I don't even know what these ratings mean, how they come about. So I can't wait to hear it.
You already know how I feel about it. We'll talk about it.
Yes, I cannot wait. So how was your morning going? I know you dropped your little one off at school today. How did that go?
Yeah, day 2 a lot smoother. Everything's good. I'm ready to go. Ready to talk these sports. Now you got me curious on what you're talking about with these ratings, cause I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. So let's talk about this first one. Let's get into our first need to know news. Because, again, you guys know that I initially was a little bit worried about Russell coming to LA to play alongside my King James. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Every single day that goes by, I become more and more comfortable with this situation. I love the energy of Russell Westbrook. I just think it's a little fast at times. But I love his energy, and I love his mentality that he was on his podcast, and they asked him, you know, he's one of the youngest old people. That's how you gonna call the man young and old at the same time? It's just a whole insult. But he says, for those of you guys who are out there calling the Lakers old and all that, you guys need to hear this message. So take a listen.
Russ, how does it feel that Joe old ass is one of the youngest people on the team?
Damn. Listen. We got a team full of nice, experienced vets that's gonna kick these young mother asses. That's what we gonna do.
You got
that's
a
what
team
we
of
gonna
old.
do.
Where
is Kevin Hart? What is this man doing this podcast in his room, in his cellar? Like, where is Kevin Hart? No lights? That threw me off.
Like he's in trouble with his wife, and she's like, "You better not make no noise." So he's all close to the mic, got the lights turned off.
Right. Yeah. I just gotta keep it down. Wife just walked past.
Yeah, I'm still in timeout with the wife. Don't get me in trouble out here, Russ. Like, it's just like, what are you doing? And Russ is all out. Oh man, like you don't even.
In his car. The whole thing. The whole thing.
Nothing about that said. I do this professionally. This is like, let me call my homie and just see, what's going on. That aside, though, I love it. It is a vibe. It's a weird vibe sometimes, but it is a vibe. I love Russ, though. Russ is always going to believe in himself, though, so I'm not surprised that he said what he said. I do agree with him to some extent, though. I do think the experience and the maturity and the understanding of the game, when you talk about the basketball IQ, we talking about between Russ and LeBron and AD, I think we're definitely up there. They do have older people, though, because it's King James, AD, Carmelo, Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza. So, we got some older dudes, but we have Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, and Kendrick Nunn and THT. So I'm cool with that. But Chris, first of all, aside from the whole let's spur of the moment podcast, what did you think about what Russ said? Do you think that's the right energy for him to have?
I wouldn't expect anything less from Russell Westbrook. That's definitely the Russell Westbrook energy I was expecting. Man, I love it because that's the joke, that they're the old guys coming into play, and then, all these teams are young. I mean, look at the Charlotte Hornets to talk about. Like, their starting five is probably going to be the youngest league. I've been joking that team is an AAU team in the NBA. Like, all the draft picks that they made, LaMelo Ball running point guard. Like, luckily they got Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward to keep the age range above 24. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of young teams that the Lakers gonna play. And Russell Westbrook, and I talked about it briefly, I think on Monday or whatever, when we talked about the Lakers. The Lakers got the right old guys. Like, they didn't just get old dudes. Like, they just signed, like, Udonis Haslem and Jeff Green. Like, they got the right old dudes. And Dwight Howard, who's still playing solid. Carmelo Anthony, who found second life in his jump shot, which is already crazy to say as talking about Carmelo Anthony. LeBron James don't know how to age, So they got all the right old dudes, and to mention, the younger guys that can come fill in some spaces if there's, injuries or what's load management and stuff like that. So Russell Westbrook, I wouldn't expect anything less coming from him. I know he's excited playing in LA, playing next to LeBron. I'm seeing the chat comparing this Russell Westbrook situation to the Rockets situation, completely different. Love James Harden, but playing with LeBron James is a completely different beast. So I wouldn't expect anything less from Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, it's definitely not the Houston situation, because at that point, James Harden didn't want to be there anyway. So you got a bunch of guys that actually want to be in LA. Russ has been smiling from ear to ear since he knew he was coming to LA. So the energy is just entirely different. And let's not forget, it's the kind of energy that we saw the Lakers have a lot of success with when they actually liked each other and they gelled with each other. This is the kind of energy that we know we're going to see. I saw someone in the chat say, do we think they're really going to win it all? I know everything is pointing to Lakers and Nets. That's the matchup that we kind of wanted to see last season. Of course, with injuries, we didn't. Do you think we'll get to see that matchup this year?
Jackie, if you ever wanted to see me put on a Lakers jersey, that's the series need to happen for me to put on a damn Lakers jersey. I told all my homies. I was like, if it happens, I know that's what we was expecting last year. If we get a Lakers Nets series, I'm gonna need to borrow somebody's Lakers jersey. If not, I got one of my homies got a Cavs LeBron jersey. I'll wear that happily as well. Because that's the one thing I don't want. I'm probably me and about 20,000 or a million other fans, Knicks fans, are the same way. We don't want to see the Nets go to the finals. But basketball fan, realistically, yeah, I mean, it looks like those two teams are two teams that tooled up the most, and the Nets. They had so many injuries and so many different things that happened to them. Because if you can't tell me, and I hate the Nets, but also on paper you got Spencer Dinwiddie, we got all these dudes that are on this team along with the James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, like all these guys, if they were all healthy, there's no way that you can't tell me that they should not have been in the NBA Finals last year. So now they retooled. They got a tad bit better in my eyes, a tad bit, very, very, very tad bit. It could go that direction. But I've learned one thing, and that's to stop disrespecting Giannis Antetokounmpo. The combination of him and Drew Holiday is real, so I don't think it's going to be no cakewalk. I think the Bucks can definitely give him some run, but I'm sure everyone is expecting that it's going to be Nets and Lakers in the finals. But I'm not ready to put the button on that yet. I ain't going to do it. Giannis, I'm going to give you some love, man. I'll give you some love.
Yeah, and don't forget that it was KD's big foot that really ruined it all for the Nets. If like one size smaller, we'd be talking about an entirely different situation. So what do you think about my fear? Because even though Russell is 32, he still plays super fast all the time. AD, like I said, I feel like I'm just going to put him in bubble wrap just to be safe. And then, we do have an older squad. Do you think that he's going to speed up the game a little too much for these older guys? Or do you think he's going to fit right in and everybody's going to play at his speed, or he's going to level down and just fit right perfectly with the rest of the squad?
Well, Russ he's good at knowing his personnel, because you saw that he didn't really do that type of didn't play that type of way in Houston as much, because even though they had personnel to do it, they didn't have the guys that knew where to be in those spots. It was literally just James Harden and Russell Westbrook to get in those spots. Other than that, they had a lot of bigs, and they had a lot they had a lot of guys that didn't make sense for that team. But last year with Washington, even though it was the Washington Wizards, they had younger guys that it didn't matter whether they can shoot or dunk. They was running. The minute the rebound was gone, they were running, so they were able to run with Westbrook to play that game. So I think it's more about and Westbrook. Westbrook's really good at knowing his personnel, like I said at the top. I think the Lakers is going to be the same situation. I think Carmelo Anthony's really good to get to the three-point line, so he could probably run with them, be at the three-point spot. Russ gets the defense to go with him, passes out Melo, boom. LeBron, he knows going to run with him. He's probably going to shadow him more than anything else. He's going to run with him, but he's going to be right behind him, so you have to trail, boom, dunk. Like I feel like I said, they got the right old dudes where they can make this work. Dwight Howard, though, he gonna probably give you about 4 or 5 points a game, but he gonna give you those 5-6 points are going to be energetic baskets, and he can still run the floor back and forth. We saw that Philly, and we saw that in y'all championship run. So yeah, obviously, just in theory, because of the age and all that stuff, you're thinking, these old guys ain't gonna run with him. But man, Malik Monk, he gonna be feasting. Taylor Horn Tucker, now he doesn't have to have the ball in his hand. I just feel like people, and I'm not. This is all coming from someone that doesn't even care about the Lakers. I feel like people are putting too much on the whole age thing with this whole Lakers situation than they should be. My biggest concern is the injuries more than the age, to be real with you. But I feel like, you know, even if Westbrook does run in transition, he's going to know when to run and who's going to run with him, or he's going to rebound, or he's going to push up to LeBron James. I just feel like it's going to work a lot better than a lot of people are expecting. So I'm riding the Russell Westbrook wave. I ain't going to lie with you.
Man, if Chris is out here talking about this is going to work better than he expected, and you see that hat on his head, now I really feel good about the situation. I was expecting you to be like, oh, no, he's old. Nah, so
right? Yeah, right? I'm surprised too. Like, because a lot of people come like, oh man, CK, you seeing this retirement home Lakers team? And I'm like, I can't hate yet, not yet. Let me see them play first, because like I said, injuries are what I'm worried about. But as far as the age, I ain't tripping about that. I can't say it enough. They got the right old dudes, so we'll see what happens. Trevor Reason now, we'll see what you can do. I don't know if you running up and down the court, but I don't know, man. I ain't worried about the other ones.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see this. I do really wonder, though, one of the things that really bothered me about the Lakers last season is we missed so many second chance points, especially when guys took shots from outside.
Right.
And the shot would go up and everybody would fall back. Nobody would be underneath the basket to potentially get the rebound. Is there somebody in this mix of our new old heads that's going to let everybody know, hey, guys, second chance points are important. We got to make sure we're getting our offensive rebounds. Anybody in that crew going to say that?
Yeah, you brought back the main reason why you couldn't get second chance points. And that was Dwight Howard. And JaVale McGee, like that was their bread and butter, the defense, and they were the ones getting those offensive rebounds. They were so vital to that. So, you know, luckily you got to bring one of them back. And Dwight Howard, like energy. I say the same thing with ball movement and playmaking. What's it called? Trickles down to the rest of the team. And the same thing, Dwight Howard's energy on the boards is going to trickle down to everyone else. You know, Russell Westbrook's going to be down there getting those boards as well. So yeah, I think missing Dwight Howard was very vital for that for you guys last year. And now that he's back, I expect that to come right back on, go right back to where it was in 2019, at least to some extent. Yeah.
It's crazy. I love me some Dwight because this is a full circle moment. We was talking so much trash about Dwight for so long. Yeah, and all we doing is praising this man. Like, go ahead, Dwight. I love it. I love it. All right, let's move on to our next need to know news. Because let me just tell you this right now, you guys. Let me be clear. Age ain't nothing but a number sometimes. Sometimes a number is just a little too big, though, for me to really co-sign on what you're talking about. That being said, though, I follow Terrell Owens on Instagram, and he posts these workouts at least once a week. You can watch him. He goes live on his IG, and he just does his whole run-through in his workout, and it is insane. This man, to me, is telling the truth when he says that he is in draft shape. Like, because I watch him, and I'm like, this is insane. He is 47 years old, but his workouts rival probably anybody's workouts that I watch on Instagram. That being said, though, in my head, I'm thinking he's doing these workouts because he just wants to stay in shape. You know, Shannon Sharp is built like some sort of Greek god, and we know he's older. I'm thinking you just want to stay in shape, look good when you're older. Not the case. T.O. wants to get back in the league. He's saying that he's ready. He runs his 40 the same way. He said, quote, he said, there is no doubt 100% that I can play in the NFL today. I'm not washed up. Once you know how to ride a bike, you never forget how to ride that bike. He also said again that he's running his draft speed for that 40. He said, quote, I've been on the track, and honestly, I probably ran like a week ago. I was clocked at a 4.4 on the 40, probably the fastest I've been in a long time. That is stupid fast at 47. I mean, it's fast just in general.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's mutant fast at 47. That's insane to me. The last time he played was in 2010. 2010. So we're not even talking about like Des Bryant years. We're talking about dog years at this point. So when he did play in 2010, he had 983 yards, 9 touchdowns, and that was his last season with the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm Team T.O. I am. I like T.O. even though he talks too much sometimes. But 47. Do you make a comeback at 47, Chris?
No. Look, I like you. I love Terrell Owens. Don't get it twisted. But at the same time, I was Team T.O. like 5 years after his retirement. Every single one of those years, he kept talking about coming back. I was all about it. I was like, yes, this dude can still play. Even when he hit 40, yes, this dude can still play. Now, look, I don't know if what you want to call it. I don't know what the reason may be. Maybe there's the politics. I don't know. But there, in my mind, there's a reason why you haven't been in right now. And I don't know, even if you do get that call, I almost at this point don't want it to happen anymore because let me say, okay, it's bittersweet because I do want it to happen because then that'd be dope if he goes in there at 47. He's out there balling at the wide receiver spot. But at the same time, I don't think that's how it's going to be. He's going to get that spot, and then he's just not going to look like T.O., and then it's going to be a field day for the media to go crazy on. So it's just one of those things where I'm just like, you know what, bro? Just let it go. You know, you got to go watch Frozen, and you just got to let it go, my guy. It's just not going to work. Because it's just a song. Shout out to my baby girl. But to me, I was about it for those, you know, when you got to 40, 41, like I was like, yes, go out there and get it. But there's a reason why they're not getting this shot. Like even like the players and people that had his back, that like they're marquee names in the NFL that had his back, and they're tweeting about like, yeah, I want to see this. Yeah, let's do this. Da da da. And it still didn't amount to anything. That tells you a lot. So I just don't know if this is the move anymore. But I mean, I don't know. I'm back and forth with it. But right now I'm on the T.O. Just let it go, bro. Just let it go. Yeah. Maybe he needs to hit up Ice Cube. Hit up Ice Cube and get a big 4, big 5 or something like that for football or something like that with the retired guys.
You know what? T.O. can ball too. He could probably play in the big 3. I've gone out to some celebrity basketball matches and ball, so just play in the big 3, you know. I think it was Levi NYC in the chat. He said he can't be any worse than Tim Tebow, and facts,
right? And that's the argument I've been getting. Yeah, go ahead. So
I can't get mad at that. I'm on the fence, because
that's facts.
The truth of the situation, what kept T.O. out of the league was T.O. It wasn't his talent. Everyone knew he was immensely talented, and everybody knew he could be an asset to his team. Nobody wanted to be bothered with the personality that was T.O. So I do think at 47, hopefully that has died down at least a little bit. I say go to Detroit. Just give it a shot in Detroit.
Why not? Yeah,
right?
If you really want it, go hit up our boy James Harden from yesterday and go roll over to Detroit and try it out. Yeah.
And try it out. My only concern is I do believe he would get out there and burn some cornerbacks like off top. But my concern is when you take that big hit at 47, that's my concern. My concern isn't whether he can play. Like if he can go out there and not get hit, he's going to burn some people. It's the hit I'm worried about.
Yeah, no, I completely hear on that. My concern is the catching, because like my man Kevin I was just about to bring it up. Kevin, like the biggest thing about his run in Seattle, like everyone was so excited about that. The dude was dropping the ball so often, which was not T.O. like. I don't know if that's just because he was hitting the gym too damn hard that his hands became as chiseled as the rock body he got. Like I don't know. So like he had stone hands all of a sudden, but like. That's my concern, because I still see YouTube videos to this day where he's out here running routes with younger guys like that, and his routes are insane. But then it's the last part, the catching part of it. Like, is that improved? Like, do you still have that part? Because we didn't get to see that in Seattle. I still fought for him, even though he got cut. I was like, you know what? It's just a bad opportunity. Maybe it's just too much moisture in Seattle. Like, maybe, just try somewhere else, man. I don't know what it is, but like that's my big concern. Like, if he can catch the ball like he used to, I'm not worried about the routes. And yes, the hitting, like you just said, that's another thing to think about. But if he can catch that ball, then it's a different conversation. Because at 47, I know he can run the routes. Like I said, check YouTube. YouTube right now, you can see a video from like a month or two ago, and he's out here burning these younger cats. But can he catch the ball? Yeah.
I agree with Kevin Lang, though. One of the reasons I would love to see this, though, is because T.O. would be the first to come from Hall of Fame.
That'd be crazy.
And then go to a roster. That would be amazing. That'd be history making, and I'm all for it. I think, I don't know. I would love to see it again. I just you would have to have medics on the field, though, every time he played, just in case. Because that could just be, I mean, taking a hit at 47 has got to be way different than when you take a hit and even in your 30s, you know what I mean? So I don't know. But we'll see. I still say put in that call, go to Detroit. That's all we got for.
You know what? I got another one real quick before you move on. Another speak. Instead of even not Detroit, maybe let Tom Brady hit him up. Tom Brady got a little bit of a dog in that race. Old man playing a young man sport. Like maybe show him some love. Like let him be like a 5th, 6th string receiver. But give him that call. Like yo, T.O. Yeah, I'll give you a shot. Let's try it out. I mean, if you were able to handle Antonio Brown.
Yeah, that's what Jeremiah said. Jeremiah in the chat said T.O. is better than Antonio Brown. How old is that? Well, I mean,
wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on.
This is when we need that elevator music so we can
I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know. But I mean, at the same time, though, I would say, well, you would get a better person from T.O. than you. But Antonio Brown has turned things around as well. He has been quiet as a mouse out there doing his job. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm just gonna say, go ahead and stay with Antonio Brown. That's just me.
And I just want to say this: we're talking about right now. We're not talking about all time. We're not getting all time T.O. and all time Antonio Brown on the field. We're talking about right now. If you're talking about all time, that's a conversation. That's a completely different conversation. Yeah, because T.O. Remember who T.O. was when he was playing. We're talking about right now though, because Antonio Brown just won a Super Bowl on that team, and I don't know. I still think I would take my chance with Antonio Brown before I take my chance with T.O. if I'm a roster right now. We're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, he already know what he's supposed to be doing. I don't want to train a new guy. So a new 40. He's an old new guy. I can't. No, I'm gonna stick with Antonio. Yeah. I'm not doing that. All right, so now let's move on. Get into the post up. All right, so we've got. I want to kind of skip ahead because I can't wait to hear what Chris thinks about this Jayson Tatum situation. But first and foremost, I got to tell you guys right now, I am so excited about Draymond's post NBA career. Every time I see this man do an interview or he sits on a panel, he is so dialed in. He's going to have a fantastic career as a sports broadcaster, and I'm excited about this. And he kind of showed off his sports broadcasting skills because he sat down with your boy KD, and he just asked him point blank, like, how you used to deal with the media when you first got in the league versus how you're dealing with the media now is two totally different things. What happened? Very interesting answer from KD. You guys take a listen.
Answers to the media, how you deal with the media has changed. Why is that? Is that just who you grew into? Is that because of the way they act with certain shit? Where did that?
I felt like the media knew more than me. I almost had them on a pedestal of like, they got more history, knowledge of the game, they more experienced than me in this area of the NBA. So once I started to get more experience and realize like, oh no, they can never be what I am or know what I know or understand it the way I understand it. Some of the questions, they didn't seem so intelligent to me anymore. People wanted to praise me more than I liked or hate me more than I liked, make a big deal out of so much other shit. And I was just like, this game is simple to me. So some of the stuff that y'all asking really doesn't move me the way it used to. I just, start to see life different. I can see this game different. So, of course my answers and questions, about what goes on is gonna be different too. So I just chalk that up to just maturity and experience.
I love that. The first thing that he said that stood out like a bright star was, some people praise me more than I like. Some people hate me more than I like. That's an interesting statement. Like, just, don't lift me up like I'm some sort of God, and don't beat me down like I'm some sort of devil. I'm Kevin Durant. You can't do what I do, which I found interesting because one of my favorite people to hear call a game is Doris Burke. Like, the way that woman sees the game, amazing. Yes. She is the GOAT to me, will always be the GOAT to me. But at the end of the day, she is sitting over here and seeing it. So he's right. He's always going to see the game differently. I don't like the mindset of, let me look down at these people because they can't do what I do. They don't understand the game the way that I understand it. Because when I talk about somebody like Doris Burke, I would argue that she doesn't know it from the player side, but her understanding of the game and the way she sees the floor, she sees things on the floor that I don't see until she says it. So how do you feel about that? About saying, oh, they can never do what I do. They don't understand the game the way I do.
Yeah, I know I'm really tough on Kevin Durant. I've always have been. But the one thing I've always understood, and the one thing that I've always taken his side on was that statement that you just were talking about. And I agree. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be thinking like I'm almighty because you don't know as much as I thought you know, kind of thing. But from the standpoint of, and I say this with any NBA player, any sports, any athlete that's pro, the media and a lot of these news outlets, they try and make their narrative out as if they know what's actually going on inside the locker room, to the point where sometimes these players, they're questioning themselves like, damn. Like, they'll say, like, Kevin Durant, his newest shoe is the best shoe in the game that's going to make you play like the best player in the league, da-da-da-da-da. And Kevin, like, damn, I can't tell me all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I from that standpoint where it's like they think they know all, and their report is this: Kevin Durant, his beef with Draymond Green was the reason why they left. That's it. Because that's what we say. Because we were in the locker room. Blah 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 blah. From that standpoint, I do agree with Kevin Durant because sometimes we take the word of the media more to heart than the players. Like we see a lot in free agency. We'll hear the media saying that the Raptors were close to making a trade for Kyle Lowry, and then you'll hear Kyle Lowry tweet. I'll be like, oh, that's news to me. No one told me anything about that. So, in a lot of those instances, they say a lot of things that they believe are Bible, but might not necessarily be true. And in Kevin Durant's standpoint, for him to, stand his ground and be like, nope, did not say that. I've co-signed that. Now, as far as when he goes and he's giving these Timmy's and Jimmy's life when they got a whole 40 followers and they say one thing that hurts his feelings and he's going to debate with them, that's when I don't like it. That's when me and him disagree. I don't think you should be giving these guys life. But when he claps back at some of these big media outlets, I'm cool with it to an extent. Sometimes he goes too far and he gets a little too sensitive for me. But speak your truth, man. You got a voice, use your voice. So I do hear him, but I'm with you on the whole. Yeah, you don't need to look down on them because now you feel like you know more than they know. But at the same time, I'm with him standing his ground. Like, do not let them run your narrative. You control your own narrative. So I hear where he's coming from on that.
Yeah, I hear where he's coming from too. One fan on Twitter called KD delusional, which sparked this whole exchange between these two that I wanted to throw up really quickly because I thought this was an interesting debate. So if we could throw up that next tweet, says, yeah, he's delusional to say a reporter will never experience the game of basketball the way a pro athlete would. Yeah, that's delusional. And this person said exactly what I was feeling. That's not what he said. He's completely disrespecting a profession that's vital to the sport he plays. And NBA reporters are just as knowledgeable about the game as he is. They just weren't blessed as a 7-foot-tall physical specimen. So that's where I kind of agree. I don't think that we'll never know the insides of the game the way that Kevin Durant does because we're not on the floor.
And that's the only part I feel like is missing. Right. That one little part right there. You're right that I do believe he's disrespecting, but that part right there, I mean, he's not wrong on that. They're not going to know what's going on inside for sure. But sorry, go on. Sorry, you're right though. I hear you.
That's my only point with that. This other user said, exactly what I said because and it gets back to what you said, Chris. You were like, everybody said that this beef between KD and Draymond was this huge thing. It's the reason why they left. But we've seen them be on shows more than once now, more than a few times. And so I love this user. I love KD. I'm really glad him and Green had a chance to play together and work it out. Of course, I would have loved KD to stay with the Warriors, but it was obvious why he didn't. You just had to watch the body language after that argument. Now, I do believe that some chemistry was definitely changed and forever damaged as far as them playing together. But it's not forever damaged as far as two grown men who can set beef aside and be professional. So glad to see that. 100% agree with that whole thought process of don't look down on people because, especially when you have a job and that is all you do is watch basketball day in and day out. It does become second nature to you. So I don't think it's fair to say that these reporters don't know as much as you do. But let's go on to this next one because this one is funny to me because the very first comment that you see after Giannis does this is a LeBron comment. And I'm like, y'all just got to stop. Let Giannis do his thing. I love this because he's just casually walking around with his MVP trophy. Like, I'd be scared. Well, I guess not. If I was as big as Giannis, I might not be scared. Me at my size, I'd be scared somebody was going to jack it from me. But I thought this was beautiful because he's just walking up to kids like, hey, do you know me? Like, it's so cute. Take a look.
What is this?
Oh my God! Are you serious? Oh my God!
Take a picture with me?
You want to?
What's the more? There you go. Really?
Oh my God! Let go.
You want to see something more special? What is this right here? I didn't take it out, but
I live in Milwaukee too.
But you can touch it. You want to touch this big trophy?
Well, that's it.
There you go. Nice to meet you, man. Have a good day.
Y'all know it's coming. Giannis, that was so dope. I love Giannis. He's the coolest guy. And just to go out and like, that was amazing to me. I've never seen like up close and personal where I could touch it and hold it and take a picture with it at MVP trophy. I've seen them, but I've never been able to like take a picture and be like, I'm holding the MVP trophy. That would have
so
just,
much,
I'm
yeah.
that would make my
there's
day.
so much love for that because like you could tell he was a very shy, but he's a big fan because he had his Greece jersey on and everything like that. But you could tell he's a shy fan, and for Giannis to reach out to him, be like, "You want to take a picture with it? You want to hold it?" Like that's dope. I think that's really cool, really cool for him because a lot of players like, if they don't ask, then he ain't gonna do it. But you could tell he was just a shy, like he was really excited, but he was shy. He's not gonna ask him to do it. That was a really dope moment. I don't understand the hate that Giannis gets. Like I feel like people were killing this guy all playoffs long. Like, there's some moments where, I found myself like, why am I saying these kind of, because I was all about Chris Middleton because I feel like Chris Middleton didn't get enough love. So then I found myself like, hold on, now I'm disrespecting Giannis. Hold on, let me chill out. But then we got Kendrick Perkins calling him the Robin to the Batman. I was just like, God, we're going too far. Stop it. So I'm glad he won, and I'm glad he's having these kind of moments. I don't know if you saw his Chick-fil-A moment right after they won the championship the very next day. Like, I'm so happy for this guy, and he's one of the best dudes in the league to get it. So shout out to him, man.
Yeah, I mean, I do think some of that criticism was warranted, but I think he used that criticism the way that you're supposed to use it, and he turned it immediately to his positive. So I got to give him shouts for that.
Said, it was like you were saying what KD said. It was too far. Sometimes like it was you're killing his character a little too far. Like you're right. Every player they're gonna have criticism. They deserve the criticism. But sometimes people are just going too far, saying like if you put somebody in his spot, they would win a champion. Like it was all kind of crazy things that people were throwing around. That I just feel like it's just too far. It's just I don't know. I think it was warranted.
Yeah, no, the man's immensely talented. And the thing that I don't like about these kinds of moments when it's any player in the league, the very first comment always has to go to LeBron. And because let me show you this is the very first comment after this video. It says, has LeBron ever done this to Cleveland? First of all, I'm so glad that this person got you because my little typing fingers was ready. But this person says, not sure, but he did bring a school there where parents can earn their GEDs alongside with their kids getting their high school degree, and then gave all the kids scholarships to college. But taking a picture with a trophy, that's cool too. Thank you. Thank you for that clap back. I'm going to have to just be your friend. This one is exactly what I was thinking in my head. It's like, thank goodness for Giannis in an era of coddled, not this one, the one after this. In the era of coddled, entitled soft stars, Giannis stands above them, cut from a different thread, reminiscent of the old school. I ain't never known nobody in the old school to take their MVP trophy to
I was just going to say, that's weird.
Yeah. Michael Jordan would never. I can tell you that right now. To this day. Michael Jordan got trophies in his living room, and he's like, you want me to let the peasants stop? He would never do that.
No way.
So this is the one that I thought about. It says, imagine getting the trophy from Giannis and running. He would catch you from 15 feet away with his long arms. But that was my thought. I was like, Giannis, don't let people. But then I was like, oh, yeah, he'd be like, give me that. Like, what's that? Come finish him. Like, he'd be like that guy.
Finish him. Oh, yeah, Scorpion. Yeah. That's what you're trying to do. Like, long arms. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I love this, though. I thought this was a beautiful thing. But y'all let Giannis have this moment and stop bringing in other players. Stop doing that to anybody. Stop comparing LeBron
how it
to
is,
everybody.
man. Yep.
He's LeBron. He is his own entity. Comparisons are not necessary. Let this man live. All right, let's go on to this next one. But we love you here, Giannis, just so you know. Let's go on to this next one because this is the one that I've been waiting for. Because it's in his name, y'all. It's CK2K. So he's going to know. Because I don't know how these ratings. Now, in my head, I think that they're rating Jason Tatum from like 2 years ago when he was averaging like, what was it, like 10 points a game or something like that. So, but
I don't think he ever averaged 10 points a game though. To be nice to Jason Tatum,
right? But I mean, maybe I'm being a little disrespectful. But I mean, it wasn't the Jason Tatum that we know right now.
Right, I understand.
Yeah. But it wasn't like it wasn't like we was like Jason Tatum. That's not what we was doing. So. So he got his 2K rating and he still feels some type of way about it. And I want you to explain why he has this rating because he doesn't understand. So I need you to tell us. All right, so take a look.
Mr. Jason Tatum, one of my favorites in the league. Talk to me about last year, where you think the rating should be at the beginning of this year and where you think it's going to end up at the end of the last year. You are the guy that's known as setting those goals and then hitting them goals. So talk to me.
I got to a 91.
I think it was a 91.
I think you got to set the base at 92.
What do you think it's going to be by the end of the year? You went in 94, 95.
Yeah,
Get to the mid-90s.
95.
Right.
Get to 95 by the end of the season.
You were on 90.
Oh my God. I don't know how we keep going backwards. I scored 50 in the playoffs twice. 4 50-point game. Tied Larry Bird record. 27 a night.
I guess we're buried to bed, big.
I see. I'm up for a challenge.
He's up for a challenge. Jayson Tatum in NBA 2K22. That rating's going to go up. He starts as a 90, but the sky is the limit.
Okay, so Chris, is that 90 rating fair?
I just want to say before I talk about his rating, Jayson Tatum, athletes take note. That is the response that you have. If you are someone that cares about your rating in video games, Jayson Tatum's response is the correct response. Because I have beef with every year with Madden and NBA 2K. All these players come out, they hot and they upset about their rating. Jayson Tatum's reaction is the right one. Of course you're upset, but the reaction like, all right, I'm going to change it. Because people don't realize there are updates in video games. They're going to update your rating. This is the base of where they're starting at. Now to answer your question, no, I do not agree. If he ended off a 91, you got to see how he played, where the game ended, and where his season ended. Did he go up? Did he go down? I think he went up. The Celtics weren't great, but it wasn't Jayson Tatum's fault. So the very least, you start him off this season at a 91. I agree with Jason. I don't know why they have to keep going backwards every time they start the new year. Again, not a Celtics fan, but respect to Jayson Tatum. So, but on top of all that, his attitude and his response is perfect. Every year we get these players like, you got me at a 75? And they're a rookie. You got me at a 75, man. I'm easily a 92. Like, if you're doing it for the content, then great response. But most of these guys, they really mean it. They're really genuinely upset about it. There are updates. Athletes. These games have updates. If you play them the way you say you play them, they have updates. Go out there and get your update. I think Hassan Whiteside, years ago, he was that guy. It's like, my goal is to, because he was like a 74, and he was trying to get his rating up, and he did. He ended that year like 88 overall. So I find it hilarious that these players get so triggered by their rating at the start of the season, because 2K, Madden, they do this on purpose. They're doing this for the reaction, and y'all give it to them. So shout out to them for getting the reaction, but understand, like Jayson Tatum, it can go up. So like he said, he's a 90 now, but he's going to try and get that 95. So let's see if he gets a 95 overall. So that's my beef with 2K ratings is more the players than the actual game. Yeah. I don't care what they come out to be. I know it's going to change as years going. Look at the Knicks, man. Our whole team, like, it was like when the game came out, it was like everyone was like a 75, 76. Julius Randle was an 80. And at the end of the year, we had like 8 players that were 80s overalls. We had Julius Randle almost damn near 90. So it's just, it happens. The game will update. Is fine. So Jason, his response is perfect. So shout out to Jayson Tatum. I gotta give him love for that.
Well, if you thought my little 10 points a game thing was disrespectful, you really gonna think Gary Turbo in the chat is disrespectful. He said he should be lucky he's over 80.
You hating on Jayson Tatum? God, he had a great year last year. What's the hate on? Like I said, I'm not crazy about the Celtics, but Jayson Tatum, again, him and Jaylen Brown, they had a good season on a very bad Celtics team. So I don't know.
So does it update? I don't play. Does it update automatically, or do you have to how does the update work?
Yeah, the game. That's the thing. They do the updates because they'll judge it by their play on the court and stuff. Like, so, like, use an example. Like, sorry, I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm gonna go RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett started the year 78 overall, but we all know RJ Barrett had a solid season this year. So, like, after like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like, he was averaging like 45% from the three. He was averaging 20.1 at that time. So then they bumped his rating up to 80. And then it just does that as the years go on for all the players. Like LeBron James now, he used to always be a 99 or 98 every year, but now he's like 95, 94. When LeBron James is still playing well, they're going to bump his rating up. That's just how it goes, because as they're playing well in the league, then they're going to play better in the game. So, yeah, they update it pretty regularly. That's the only thing that they do right.
Gotcha.
Shout out to 2K.
Let's go on to this next one, because you know I'm a fan of Tampa Time. Tampa Time is my guy. I like this new commercial because it's Tom Brady. He's got this sense of humor now that I think is fantastic. So y'all check out his new Madden commercial. And Chris, I know you play, so let me know how you feel about this commercial. Let's take a look.
Jules, what's up, bro? You ready to play? Braves, coaching's overrated, bro. I know you still got it, Randy. Let's get back to playing. Willie Mack, Teddy, West, Ocho Cinco. I guess I'll just play online.
Chill with that.
I love everybody hanging up on Tampa Tom. It's great. All right, Chris, what you think about the commercial?
I love the commercial. The game always comes out with some bugs and issues, but Madden commercials have been great. You can go on YouTube and watch all their Madden commercials. Von Miller's is when they did a parody of Justin Bieber's "I'm Sorry." To this date, that's my favorite Madden commercial. Madden, they do a good job with their commercials. I just wish they put as much effort in their game. That's all.
Ooh, that's shade. I love it. Levi in the chat says this commercial made me cancel my pre-order. Ooh, shade. Okay.
That was good. It was creative. It was funny. Tom Brady, he was acting a little bit. I see you, Tom. All right. It's pretty solid. It was cool. It was cool. That's the only compliment you're gonna get from me.
Okay.
He's a Buccaneer, Jack. He's still a Buccaneer. He can make me smile. It's one of those things where I'll be like Chris Paul, like, haha, because I gotta remember he's a Buccaneer, so I ain't gonna give him too much love.
Yeah, but I think we'll talk about that later. We're gonna have to have a whole Saints show, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's go on to this next one, because this one, remember yesterday we talked about LaMelo not spending any of his rookie contract. I think he's saving his rookie contract for the IG chick he's trying to hook up with, because he knows he's gonna have to run her the bag, because people are kind of giving him the business, or maybe she's gonna get the money from the rented out Rolls Royce. I don't know, but she definitely gonna get some sort of money. People are dragging him for hanging out with this 32. Now he's 19 and he's hanging out with this 32-year-old IG model. I want you to take a look at this picture. Because I didn't even see her in a minute. She playing it right though, because she off in the cut with the chair. And I didn't see her in a minute. I was like, who are they talking about? I'm just looking at somebody's behind. And then I was like, oh, there she go. She's in the back. So the post says LaMelo Ball and Anna Montana, the other weirdo, caught up now. Boy, dumb AF, but he is the real PJ Jr. I mean, LeVar's not gonna let this happen. LeVar's already said that he thinks that all these girls is after them for their money, and that none of the Ball brothers should even get married until after the game, because everybody just trying to get their money. LeVar's not going to let it go as far as it did with PJ, in my opinion. LeVar might have to come over every morning and just like mush up a morning after or something. I don't know. He's not going to let it happen. He's going to be right there by his side. But the responses from people, y'all take a look at this one. Says Melo's a whole clown who finna be PJ shoes next. A 32-year-old, stop talking like you know how to move. And then the next one says whole crew is clowns. Chris.
Yeah, this goes back to my comments on KD. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Everyone here, we don't know what this picture means. We don't know. Like, obviously, yes, like that's the end. You're gonna assume that that's what it is. But this is the only picture we got of him with her, right?
That's the only picture I've seen. But Jeremiah says that we are late and they're already together.
So they together like that.
I don't know if I want to see Jeremiah. Jeremiah can't be.
I'm about to say, you said you had some beef with Jeremiah that I didn't know about. Y'all lifted the beef yesterday, but I don't know if it's back on today.
Oh, no, we never lifted. It might have a temporary stay, but it's never lifted.
For sure. All right, got you. I don't know. Like I said, we don't know the whole entire story. All I know is, yes, stay away. And if Jeremiah's right and they together, then I got a little beef with this as well. Like, you know, your teammate was going through what he's going through. You knew from the moment he was talking to old girl that he had that was a no. So, and you about to do the same thing. I'm gonna give him the benefit of that, because we know that you got your pockets in order. So I'm hoping that, you know, some of that brains is going the right way as well when it comes to your female choice. But who knows? I don't know. I'm a little worried now if Jeremiah's right and if they're together now. I don't know. I'm a little worried. Stay clear, LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, Jeremiah says she was at a game. I don't know if that means that they're together, but it does to me mean something's going on. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But let's go on to this next one, because we knew that this was coming when we saw that big fight at SoFi. We knew some bands were coming. this doesn't mean, I've always had an issue with the bans, and because I don't know how you can enforce them, and somebody else, I'm gonna show you a tweet that says the same thing, but nevertheless, they have identified some people. So there's this new, AJ says, a new statement from SoFi Stadium management on the brawl at Saturday's Chargers-Rams game. That some of the individuals involved have been identified, and they will be banned from attending events at SoFi. We are actively working to identify the remaining individuals. So I want you to keep that last part of this statement in your head, because it says we are actively working on identifying the remaining individuals, because that's going to make his next comment make a little bit more sense. So it says, per LT Scott, though, T. Collins of the Inglewood Police Department, the fight at Saturday's game remained under investigation and no arrests have been made. So if you have identified some people, how come they haven't been arrested? I don't know what's going on. But this next user asked the question that I always ask with regards to bans. It seems impossible to enforce. But this guy, Paul, says, good. Really happy to hear they are taking this seriously and that penalties are harsh. AJ, can you explain how banning policies are enforced? What's stopping one of the individuals from buying a ticket from someone outside of the stadium and attending the game? Always been my question. AJ responds, and I'm like, but you just said they can't even identify these people. So he says, that's the tricky part. You likely wouldn't be able to buy it from the team, but your buddy could give you the barcode for the seats. You could also buy it on the secondary market. If they spot you there, maybe even via facial recognition, you'd face a trespassing arrest. What facial recognition? Because if there's facial recognition, why are you having a hard time identifying these people? AJ, you know they ain't got no damn racial face. Stop.
Racial face.
Oh my God. You know, so how do they enforce this ban?
Yeah, I never knew. Now I know, because like, you know how some of these YouTubers, they'll be going and they'll be streaking or they'll be pranking these games and stuff like that. I know for them, obviously, yeah, because they're YouTube, because they're a big name, they supposedly have their faces recognized and they be on the lookout for them when they're banned from these stadiums or whatever. But then we'll see them post a vlog or a video talking about, yeah, man, still made it. Sick. So I don't understand. I'm like you, like, yes, I'm sure that they might get them eventually at some point, but what if it's like the fourth quarter or the game's over? Or, like, there's no way that they don't have like a scanner. This ain't like 2085 where they got scanners at the entrance where it like scans your face and it says your ID or it says your old name. Like, they ain't got that going on. Like, I guarantee you the security guards around the whole entire stadium don't have faces in their mind that they're supposed to be looking out for. So I don't know how they're necessarily going to get who they're supposed to get. I never understood that. And that's one thing I wanted them to talk about in Malice of the Past. I don't know if you saw the documentary, because that one dude got banned for life, but he was a season ticket holder, so it's easier to keep track of him. But like these regular fans, how do you know whether to? I don't know. I don't know how they figure it out. I don't know.
But even with that, so they took away his season tickets, but he could get his buddy to buy season tickets. Obviously, it'd be a little harder.
And still get it somewhere else, right?
In somewhere else. This is the true story, funniest story. I was in a beauty supply store one day, and they had, when I walked in, there was this wall of shame, like people who had either stolen something or whatever, and very clear pictures of people on that little wall of shame. I'm standing in line to buy my stuff. There's a girl behind me that I kind of do like this. I'm like, that's the chick on the wall. And then nobody say nothing. Nobody recognized her but me, because unless you're actively having someone there to think about it. Yeah. And I'm looking at the dude, looking at him, looking at her, and I'm like, but look, I ain't none of my business. So I just,
right.
But it just doesn't work. It seems like it's an impossible thing to enforce. But let's get on to this next one, because I actually love this one. I wanted to shorten the video, but I thought it was important for you guys to see a good chunk of it, because we always see Ken and Karen that are snitching on the kids playing basketball and saying that they're being too loud, and it always ends up being this huge thing. This is the polar opposite of that. This is an amazing thing. So I want you to see this first tweet from Rex, because he posted this tweet and says, this teenager in Canada got on a knock on his door from the neighbors and thought he might be in trouble for dribbling his basketball all hours of the day. That's not why they were there. Please take 2 minutes. Kindness, humanity, and community. Passing on. I love the message at the end of this tweet. So take a look at this video.
When it comes to basketball, Anthony Mobike is determined. and he's a natural. The 14-year-old spends hours outside practicing.
It kind of makes me feel like a star.
But Anthony didn't know he already has fans.
I come outside and then I see like a man I barely ever see, like ever. So like, and then he's just like, hey, you like playing basketball? I'm like, yes.
That man is his neighbor, Ian Ray.
It was just a kid that dribbled the basketball all night, all day, just bouncing the ball, right? But that's all he did.
I thought whenever I dribbled, it made a racket and people would want to sleep or something like that.
But it didn't bother the neighbors. Instead, they wanted to nurture his talent.
Your mom said you wanted to be a basketball player. Come here. You probably need a nap.
You see, this is the first time Anthony has been able to shoot hoops in his driveway, thanks to a post Ian put on a community Facebook page.
I didn't expect it to blow up like it did, but you know, the north side's a pretty strong community.
The community started collecting donations for a new net and ball when the area's Canadian Tire stepped in. Cash was then put into a $750 gift card for Sport Check that Anthony plans to use to take him to the next level.
It actually just makes me feel happy inside. It just makes my mind blow, like, wow.
My son told me yesterday, oh, everybody who believes in me, who made this happen, they want me to practice more so I can be like LeBron James.
No, I don't know if you heard the last part, but his mom said he wanted to be like LeBron James. And guess what? LeBron is a fan right now. He shared a picture of the kid going up and getting a dunk and said, I'm already a fan. LeBron is already a fan of this kid. Love this. I love the love. I love to see the community come together, and because I do believe it takes a village. This warmed my heart, and it warmed my heart even more to know that LeBron James has this kid on his radar, and he's a fan. I love it. I love it. Chris,
this chat's so disrespectful. Hey, no, I loved it until I looked at the chat. This man, Kevin, he said he'll be Anthony Bennett, though. Like, you didn't have to do that. Like, let the kid have his moment. I was here like, yo, that's cool. Because I was trying to understand what was going on. I was like, what's the big deal? Like, he just dribbles? Because I thought he had because the editing was terrible. So I thought that he already had a rim. And then I realized that all he does is dribble and he didn't have anywhere to shoot. So he gifted him a new basketball and a rim. So, yeah, it all came together at the end. But then, yeah, my man Kev just ruined the entire video for me with that. I was not ready for that. I was like, I came on, I was like, yeah, it's a good moment. And I read that, and then the camera goes on me, and I'm here laughing like, oh, no. But, yeah, no, it was a dope moment. It was a really cool moment because I didn't luckily in the neighborhoods I grew up in, I didn't have that problem. Like, because I was that kid. I used to dribble. If it was 8 o'clock at night, I felt like shooting. My 14th and 13th birthday, I got my own rim, and ever since then, like, I would shoot. If it was 8 o'clock at night and I wanted to go shoot, I'd let mom know. I'd be out there for 30 minutes. Nobody had anything to say. Our neighborhood was kind of cool. They didn't care. So then to know that there were, I believe it, that there's like Kens and Cares out there that they hear a ball dribbling, they're going to be out there pissed and they're going to wave their finger. That's crazy to me. But shout out to him. That's a great neighbor. And putting that whole thing together, raising $750 for this kid. That's huge, man. That's a lot of money to raise. So, yeah, that's really huge. Really big, really big. This man said,
I'm excited for that young man and that community. That's a beautiful thing. So, yeah. I want to get to this one really quickly, so I have a little bit of time for what we not gonna do. But this one is hilarious because we've talked a lot of trash about the NFL and this whack taunting rule. There's no TikTok wins the battle on how stupid this is. Y'all take a look. This is hilarious and perfect.
If you like smoking weed, let me hear you say hell yeah. Gotcha. Get these motherfuckers.
The flags came out of nowhere too. Oh my god, that's great.
Great. I ain't got nothing else to say, but that was facts. He nailed it. The stupid rule. I cannot stand it. But let's get into what we're not gonna do because this one is hilarious to me. Not a game we're about to talk about. We're about to talk about practice right now. And I know we're getting back into the swing of football, so maybe we just trying to drum up something. I don't know. But there is a reason why the Rams bet the farm on Jalen Ramsey. If you remember, I think it was last September, they gave him a 5-year, $105 million contract. That was the biggest contract that a cornerback had in NFL history. And I mean, I didn't really understand it per se because I thought that they were limiting themselves and what they were going to be able to do financially. But when you're talking about the talent, this man is shutting down, DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, everybody. He was shutting them down. So it made sense for his talent, not necessarily make sense for the team for me. But if you're getting that kind of money and you're effectively shutting down these crazy talented wide receivers, it makes sense. But you also expect a guy like that to be able to handle a slot receiver, especially when the person has a last name Renfrow. I always go Renfrow Renfrow. So sounds like Scooby to me.
Yeah, I was about to say Scooby Doo.
Like Renfrow. But on Wednesday, during the Rams practice, they had a joint practice. And the reports are that Hunter Renfrow was giving Jalen Ramsey the business. Apparently, Jalen hit Josh Jacobs really hard, laid him out, and then on the very next play, Hunter Renfrow caught a deep pass for about 30 yards, which kind of made Jalen feel some type of way. So then Jalen was like, okay, all right, let me fix this. I'm going to line up in the slot position, and I'm going to defend Hunter. And so Levi Damien, who is a Raider sports writer, he was there. He's a Raider sports writer, and he said that when Jalen started lining up there to cover Hunter, he couldn't do it, that Hunter was giving him the business. So then he posted these tweets and said, Rams cornerback Jalen Ramsey is playing heavily in the slot today and has been burned by Raiders wide receiver Hunter Renfrow multiple times. Now, this is from Doug. But then the Raiders sports writer chimes in. Levi says, Hunter Renfrow goes up high over Jalen Ramsey. Renfrow is killing Ramsey today. So, they just putting your boy on blast. And then I have another tweet. So at some point, Jalen gets in his feelings a little bit and then decides to, clap back and respond to this, which I believe is the next tweet. And hopefully it's in there. But so anyway, when Jalen responds, he basically says, I can't believe you guys are believing this. This is silly. Let me see what these tweets say really quick, because I just want to hear what I swear I put those tweets in there. But anyway, so he says, I can't believe that y'all believe half that BS people say for clicks. Y'all got to know at this point. And do better than that. LOL. It's all love. I ain't going to pop my collar, basically. But just know I'm really the chosen one. Thank God. And then on his next one, he says, y'all enjoy y'all day because I know I am, even the haters. I still hope you enjoy your day and go make some money. And what's interesting about his Twitter is he has it set up so you can't respond. So if you go to respond, this thing will pop up and say that the only people who can respond to Jalen are people Jalen follows or he tags. So if he doesn't tag you, if he doesn't follow you, you can't respond. So to me, this is one of those things where you probably were getting burned, because otherwise, why would you clap back? There's no reason to clap back at this. Or at the very minimum, there'd be some tape that you'd have thrown up, because somebody there was taping it, and you would have thrown up the video and be like, okay, yeah, I got burned. And it would show the opposite. But what we not going to do, Jalen, is respond to this type of practice propaganda. You could have let this gloss over. You could just let people think what they think. Who cares? It is practice. Let Hunter have his moment if that's what was happening. That has nothing to do with what you do in an actual game that actually matters for your team. You look like you was getting burnt to a crisp when you respond, sir. Let it go. Yeah. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna say, first of all, who's gonna come out with these elaborate descriptive tweets and make it up? To me, that's the first strike on Jalen Ramsey. Come say oh, how could you guys believe these tweets? And then he gave the perfect, I'm wrong kind of tweet where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to do me and I'm just going to, show you guys in the regular season kind of thing. That's when you know that you got. So, yeah, I'm 100% with you. Even we know these tweets are real. It's practice. Everyone's going to have a moment like, ooh, got him. But then during the regular season, when you out there getting your stops, playing the way that you normally play, ain't nobody gonna care about what Hunter Renfrow did to you during practice. But now, since you responded and made it look even more real, now you're gonna hear the telecast. I don't know if the Rams play the Raiders, but you know that if they do, you're gonna hear the telecast have something to say. There was tweets that happened earlier on in the joint practice, and it's gonna turn into a whole thing. And you did that to yourself, Jalen. You did that to yourself because nobody was gonna think nothing of it until you came in and responded. So yeah, if he made it worse than it already was. Like it was one thing to see it like, oh damn, Hunter Renfrow, cool, and then we would have moved on. But he made a big deal about it because, like you said, show us what you're gonna do in the real game. Nobody cares what you do and what happened to you in practice. You'll be all right. Anyways, but yeah, now he dug himself a hole. Yeah, just
do better. All right, you guys, that is our show. We had such a great time as per usual. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget, if you haven't already, I know most of you guys have because y'all are here on time, and I appreciate you guys for hitting that notification bell. But make sure you share this with your friends. And we are interviewing. I'm just gonna have to read this. So we have an interview with an Olympian that's coming up today at 2:00. So make sure you check that out. You guys have that notification bell on, so you will see it when it comes up. But we're doing an Olympic series right now. So we have 2 Olympians. We have the first interview is coming out today at 2:00. And then I will let you know when the next one is coming out tomorrow. But make sure you check that out today at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then make sure you are back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Chris will be back with us. It's going to be Friday. We're going to get out here and have a good time on Friday. So we will see you guys tomorrow. You guys be safe.